Good morning, everyone. The first topic that I'm going to discuss for this video is all about organizing and structuring the enterprise. The business plan must be able to estimate the capital required by the enterprise. The capital required would be directed by the investment in the assets of the enterprise. These assets are composed of the following. We have the current assets, which are short-lived assets. For example, is the cash and cash equivalents, the accounts receivable, the inventory. These assets, it can be easily converted into cash. And then we have the long-lived or fixed assets. Example of these are the buildings, the furnishing, the fixtures, the office equipment, vehicles, land, patents, trademarks. And this is also called as non-current assets, and it is not expected to be converted into cash or be consumed within 1 year. The next, we have the other assets. Lahat ng asset na hindi belong sa current at non-current or long-lived assets are under sa other assets. All minor assets that do not naturally fit into any of the main asset categories belong to the other assets. Example of these are the advances of the employees, the bond issuance cost, and the deferred tax assets. The assets of the enterprise are financed by its liabilities. Kung meron tayong asset, meron din tayong liabilities. Liabilities are any debts your company has. Example is yung mga accounts payable, the income taxes payable, the interest payable. No one like debt, but in business, it is inevitable or unavoidable part of running a business. Then we have the current liabilities such as supplier's credit and other short-term credit. Supplier credits means kasi some suppliers allows the buyer to receive the products and pay later. But of course, it is accordance with the terms and conditions agreed upon the seller. And then we have the short credit. It refers to the small amounts loans usually granted immediately without requiring hardly any documentation from the borrower. But because they are granted easily, they come at a very high price. And then we have the long-term debt. It is a liability that matures in more than 1 year. And then we have the owner's equity. It is the amount of ownership you have in your business, We can get the owner's equity, but by subtracting your liabilities from your assets. For example, your total assets is 50,000 pesos, and then you have a 10,000 pesos liabilities. We need to subtract the liabilities from the assets. The answer would be 40,000. 40,000 there is the owner's equity. We have the sole proprietorship. From the word sole, he or she exclusively owns all assets and profits of the business. And he or she also personally liable for all the debts and losses that the business might incur. In organizing a business, I think it is the most simplest and easiest enterprise to organize. And next, we have the partnership. If two or more persons bind themselves into a contract to contribute money, property, and expertise in a common venture with the intention of dividing the profits among themselves, then they would have entered into a partnership. Just like what they said, no two heads are better than one. And we have two varieties of partnership. We have a general partnership and the limited partnership. So a general partnership is composed of partners who are liable individually and collectively to all those who have claims against them. Claimants can run after all the personal assets of the partners. And a limited partnership consists of partners who have limited liabilities while others in the partnership have unlimited liabilities. So here in limited partnership, no, they serve as an investor only. They really have no control over the company and are not subject to the same liabilities as the general partner. So for example, no, magtukod kog business or magtukod mig business. And then we are 5 and then 3 of the members are general partner and 2 of us is only limited partner. So if the business incur losses and there are still debts that need to be paid in the bank, so the bank can run after the personal assets of the general partner. And they cannot run after us or they cannot run in the limited partner because again they serve as an investor only and they don't have any control over the company. And then next we have the corporation. So a corporation can be formed or incorporated by at least 5 or at most 15 natural persons. So according to Philippine law, the majority of the incorporators must be residents of the Philippines. So we have different types of corporation. First is the stock corporation. The stock corporation issues capital stocks divided into shares or proportions of the total capital. So, stock corporation are for-profit organization that issue or share stock to shareholders to raise capital. And of course, with each share or with each stock, it represents your partial ownership of the corporation. And then we have the non-stock or non-profit corporation. The non-stock or non-profit corporation is organized to carry out a purpose or purposes other than generating profits for investor. So the best example here now is the schools. So diba, generating profits are not their only purpose. They also want to educate students, so it's also part of their purpose. And then we have the closed corporation. The closed corporation has articles of incorporation that limit the ownership of issued stocks to at most 20 persons. So these closed corporations are often run by family members wherein the management of the corporation within the family, no, or a small circle of trusted individuals. And next we have the corporation soul. So a corporation soul is a special form of corporation allowed by law, usually associated with the clergy. So when we say soul, so it means one person only. So it is a corporation soul, no, may be formed by the chief archbishop, the bishop, the priest, the minister, and other clergy. So a merry band of men and women. The entrepreneur must meticulously screen and hire men and women who foster the cause and share the commitment of the enterprise. So of course, no, kaya nga meron tayong recruitment process, no, especially in interviewing, to really know the possible candidate of a certain job. So we should be meticulous in finding the applicant or the candidates now that shares the same values and commitments that the company has. Next is we have the managing the operations function. So operations management is about delivering products and services to customers to meet or surpass their expectation. It is designing, developing, and executing the enterprise delivery system from sourcing of the necessary input to the transformation of this input to final output, which in turn assures the intended outcome of delighting the customer. So, of course, no, EDS, no, means the enterprise delivery system. It is a transformation process which converts inputs into outputs. So the final output now must carry all the features and attributes that the customers are looking for. So these wants and desires can be classified into three customer outcomes: the quality expectations and delivery expectation. Number 3 is the price expectation. So of course, now the customer's quality, delivery, or price expectation are really crucial to the operations function. So the enterprise delivery system framework and the QDP. So this is the next lesson or next topic. QDP here stands for the quality, the delivery, and the price. So please refer to the table. So for input, we have the 6 M's of manpower of operation. So in the resources mobilized, we have the money. Of course, money refers to the funds that are needed in the production or in the operation. And we have the men. This refers to the workers who works in the business. Then we have the machines. And these are the equipments or machines that will be used to produce a certain effect. And then we have the materials. So it refers to the raw materials. It's either direct materials or indirect materials. And then next, we have the method. So it is the process to be followed in the manufacturing or delivering a product or service. And the next is the management. So this refers on how will you manage the operation of the business. And then for the next column, we have the throughput. So dito na nangyayari yung transformation process or ng conversion ng input into output. And then we have the output. Of course, output means the products or the goods made or the services rendered. Next is the final delivery of customers, the marketing and customer serving marketing program, service level experience. So dito natin malalaman how will you market your product and how will you deliver your products, or what are the distribution channel that you will use. On the next column or the last column, we have the outcomes. So the customer expectation, so the quality of your product, so of the delivery and the price. The market expectation, you have the revenue, sales, market share, and market reach. So mataas ba yung revenue or ng sales ng product natin? Then we have the finance expectations. expectations. So, kung mataas yung revenue at sales, then of course, magkakaroon tayo ng profits at return on investment. So, the critical sub-processes or subsystem in the transformation process. The transformation process or the throughput system is what differentiates a well-managed from a poorly managed EDS. And there are 9 critical sub-processes or subsystems that must be managed well in the transformation process. So first, we have the technology application and utilization. So the enterprise managers and technicians must understood how the technology works and how it should be properly utilized. So of course now the enterprise managers should be familiar with the technology used in operation. They should know how technology works, and of course they should transfer all information to the key operators of the business. Next is we have the operating workflow. The operating workflow or the OWF should follow the rationale of the technology being adopted and used. It is the step-by-step process of sourcing and storing the input, converting this input into output, and delivering the output to the customers. Of course, now it talks about the workflow of the operation of the whole workflow of the operation or the step-by-step process of the operation. And there are 2 guiding principles of OWF. The first is the OWF must be very efficient in terms of time, movement, and utilization and resources. And number 2, the OFW must be balanced capacity-wise. Next is we have the layouting. The operating workflow must translate into an appropriately designed and executed physical layout of the factory or service shop. So we should lay out the operating workflow. So the layout should capture the physical and psychological atmosphere desired, and the layout must be easy to see, easy to follow, or monitor, or easily to control. Next is we have the quality control. The quality, delivery, and price expectations of customers must be matched with the quality, delivery, and productivity measurement, monitoring, and evaluation system at every stage of the enterprise delivery system. So in quality control, no, every step in the transformation process must be measured. It must be monitored, and it must be evaluated according to the QDP standards of the transformation stage. And the output should be very acceptable to the customers. Next, we have the operating systems and procedures. So operating systems and procedures, or OSP, are the enterprise standards for running the entire operations of the factory or service shop. They are engineered methods. So it refers to the system and procedures that are being used in the whole or in the entire operations. So we have the operations management, supervision, and control. So in operations manager and supervisors orchestrate and control the entire ADS. There are 3 distinct phases of managing and controlling EDS. First is the pre-operation, so the preparation. So bago mangyayari yung transformation process, we need to prepare all the materials that we will use. And then the operations proper. So, ito na, nangyayari na yung transformation process or ng conversion process. And then the post-operation, so it talks about the finished goods. Kung okay ba yung finished goods na ima-market natin sa customers. And then we have the worker motivation, skilling, deployment, compensation, and control. So, of course, na in a company, somehow we need to motivate our employees to effectively and efficiently do their job. And we should pay them accordingly and should pay them with the right compensation for a job well done. Next, we have the support services. So the operations functions cannot perform well without soliciting and getting the support of all the other units of the enterprise. Cross-functional coordinations is important to the success of any operations. So all department or all people involved in the business or in a company in general are all important in the transformation process. They can also they can also a part of the success of any operations. So the next topic is we have the goals of business or the business goals. So it refers to a goal that a business anticipates to accomplish in a set period of time. So business goals are broad outcomes that company wishes to achieve. So it is broad outcomes because you can set your business goals for your company in general as well as your particular department, employees, managers, and or customers. So the main goal of business is to make your business profitable. So of course, having profit is very important in the business because with this profit, we can generate revenues that can pay for the salaries of our employees. And then the business has to earn profit so that it can continue operating and continue providing the goods and services it has committed to produce. We all know that profit is really important, but however, it should not be the only goal that we have in the enterprise. So the enterprise enables an entrepreneur to be independent, to be his own boss. Of course, one of the goals of the business is to make the entrepreneur decide freely on his own especially on the crucial decisions that have to be made. Next is we have the gives an entrepreneur an opportunity to be of service to society by making goods and services that are beneficial to people and to the environment. So of course, the entrepreneur should realize that there are larger goals than just making profits. What are these goals? So for example, is giving back to the society, improving the conditions of your employees, providing employment opportunities to the communities, and the likes. We have the types of business. We have 3 types of business now: the manufacturing, the service businesses, and the trading or merchandising. So first, let's discuss the manufacturing. So in manufacturing, it involves the process of transforming raw materials into finished good. So in manufacturing, tayo talaga yung gumagawa ng products natin. So in manufacturing, it includes the raw materials. So ito yung it refers to the components that make up the finished product. So, for example, no, if our product is computer, so the raw materials there are the computer chips, the wires, the plastic casing, the transmitter, and other parts. Then we have the direct labor is the work done by laborer or workers as they convert the raw materials into finished goods. So direct labor is measured by the number of hours put in by the worker in his work. Then we have the factory overhead refers to the resources needed in the transformation of the raw materials into finished goods. So again, it refers to the resources. So resources such as utilities like electricity bills, the water, the phone bills, and etc. And next is we have the process. It refers to the manufacturing process that takes place in the conversion of raw materials into finished good. So for example, no, in a car manufacturing, so some of the processes involved are assembling of parts, painting of the car, and rust proofing. Next type is we have the service businesses. So I involve rendering work for others involving the skills and expertise of the people. So example of this is the barber shops, the salon, the spas, laundry shops, gyms, schools is also example of service, hospitals, and the likes. Then we have the training and merchandising. So trading or merchandising is the buying and selling of goods without causing any major change in the form of the product. So under trading now we have the wholesaling. Wholesaling, it is when goods are sold in a large quantities. Then we also have the retail trading. When we say retail trading naman, it is when goods are sold in a small quantities. And diba, class, recently trading became popular and has been taking place in the internet through various commercial and other social networking sites a that sell a wide variety of items. So I guess that would be all for this video, and thank you for listening, and God bless us all.